Shabbat Shalom, everybody. As we prepare to begin, it's good to see all of these wonderful people like the Kimmels and Cardonics and Ellen and Marlene and Judy and John David and Shira and the Sugars and the Glowgowers and the Ubermans and Rosalie, Laura, Helen, Dave, the Tompkins, the Boyers, the Marcuses, the Treskys, everybody. A lot of people. Silverbergs, there's Stacy, maybe with Sam around, and the Beckermans and the Grossmans and the Godfreys. And there's Dave. We're glad you're all here. We're going to start in a minute. Hope you're feeling good. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're so glad that you're here. I hope that you're feeling well at the end of another very long week. And as I've been saying recently, we need Shabbat more than ever, an opportunity to take a break, to take a step back from the news and the restlessness and all that these days are bringing us, and really bask in the best of our tradition and all that our tradition offers, a little bit of perspective, a little bit of music, a chance to be together, even if virtually. I wanted to give a special shout out to the doctors, the nurses, the first responders, all the teachers, everyone who's helping us in really extraordinary ways right now. And it's good to be together. All you need to do is look at your screen before you. You'll have every prayer and every song. And together we'll be able to enjoy Shabbat as our people have done since the beginning of time in all kinds of extraordinary circumstances. And thank God that we can do so here and now. With that said, we're going to begin, as we always begin, with a little bit of song, a little bit of music to get ourselves settled into Shabbat, to shift gears as we sing Hine Matov.
Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Our blessing over the Shabbat lights helps us to bring light and warmth into our home, into our world, to combat darkness, the darkness of anxiety, the darkness of fear, the darkness of uncertainty. And our Kiddush, over the blessing over our sweet wine or grape juice, reminds us of all of the sweetness to be found in our tradition, the sweetness of Judaism and our wonderful heritage. We can join together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'riagatem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava u'b'razon im זכר לציון ישראל, כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל עמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקודש השבת. לחיים.
L'chaim. A Shabbat tradition dating back many, many generations is to have parents bless their children, grandparents bless their grandchildren, even if we do this from afar, even if we do this virtually. So if you are with a daughter or granddaughter, or thinking about your daughter or granddaughter, I invite you to join me. You see the words in front of you as we say, Yisimech Elohim, Kisara, Kirivka, Kirachel, V'cheleah. May God inspire you to live like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And if you're with a son or a grandson, we're thinking especially of a son or grandson at this time, we can join together as we say, Yisimcha Elohim, K'Ephraim v'Menashe. May God inspire you to live like Ephraim and Menashe. Our service will continue in a moment with Lecha Dodi, a song which has us welcome the Sabbath and the Sabbath bride. Before we do that, I thought I would share the following words which were shared with me this week, a poem called "And the People Stayed Home." And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows, and the people began to think differently. And the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed. We sing Lecha Dodi, joining together.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shama v'zachor v'diborecha, yishmiyanu el hamiukar, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, v'shem tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat nekuvenilcha, ki nekol abracha, v'rosh v'kedam nasucha, tzov ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Oi v'shalom ateret kala, gam b'simcha u'sola, tochem ulei amsa kula, boi kala, boi kala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. ala, ine Shabbat nekabela.
As is our custom when we're in our sanctuary, this is the point at which we wish all those around us Shabbat Shalom. So I would invite you to wish each other Shabbat Shalom in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on Facebook. Maybe as you do so, share a little bit of good news with us. We love good news, especially now. And as we do that, our service continues with our call to worship. Baruch Hu.
Lai, lai, la, la, lai, lai, la, 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 lai. Yai, lai, la, la, lai, lai, la, 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 lai. Yai, lai, la, la, lai, lai, la, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, la, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamivorach, Hamivorach. Baruch Adonai Abivorach, Leolam, Leolam Vaed. Praise Adonai, to all praises due. Praise Adonai, to all praises due. Praise Adonai, to all praises due. Now and forever. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
We have a very special treat now. Charlotte Nesevich was going to have a bat mitzvah tomorrow, and that bat mitzvah, like many b'nai mitzvah, over a dozen from our synagogue, have now been rescheduled due to the state of things. But to honor what would have been and to celebrate Charlotte and all of the hard work she's done and how she's such an extraordinary student and human being and a leader, she has offered to help lead a portion of our service, which future B'nai Mitzvah students may also be doing in the coming weeks. So here she is, and we're turning the screen over to her as she leads all of us in the very, very important words of Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzaveha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levaneha v'dibartam bam B'shivteha b'veiteha uvlechteha b'aderet uvshapaha uvkumeha ukshartam leo ayadeha v'hayu letotafot bein eineha uktavtam al mezuzot beiteha uvishareha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai Yitem kedoshim lelohehem. Ani Adonai Elohehem. Asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihyot lelohim lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohehem.
Great job, Charlotte. You can all tell Charlotte in the chat how awesome and amazing that was, and how much we're looking forward to her rescheduled bat mitzvah, which is going to be a fabulous, memorable bat mitzvah. As our service continues with our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, we can sing together.
Micha Mocha, Boilim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Neda B'Kodesh, Micha Mocha, Boilim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Neda B'Kodesh, Noah Tehilot, Osei Pelech.
Hashkivenu is a prayer that we traditionally recite as our day draws to a close. It's a prayer which has us beseech God to watch over us and to take care of us and to be with us. And so much of this prayer resonates in altogether new ways given the world that we're living in right now. And indeed, as we lie down each night, we pray that the next day will be a day of greater health and greater hope for our world, which seems to be and feel so fragile right now. We pray for healing, and we pray for the ability to hold on to hope and faith, even amid these daunting times. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'taknenu be'etzat tova milfanecha, v'hoshienu lema'an shemecha. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence, we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Our tefillah, our most central collection of prayers, reminds us of the lives lived and the legacy left by the world's first Jews, Abraham and Sarah. We're meant to be inspired by them and guided by them, especially now as we navigate uncertain times, drawing on the times that they lived in, the obstacles they overcame, how they hung on to faith and community and tradition, reminding us and inspiring us to do the same in our own time, to be with Judaism, to align ourselves with our people, to align ourselves with the Jewish story as we join together in tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi tehillateka. Adonai, open up my lips, set my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elokei avoteinu v'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elokei אליה. האל הגדול הגיבור הנורא, אל עליון ומלך חסדים טובים, ובונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בכל עטרה להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחלקל חיים בחסד, וחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. צומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומשמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יולדוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
I may be seated.
We'll continue now with our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav is our prayer for peace and a greater level of peace in our world. With these words, we pray for a greater sense of compassion and kindness, greater empathy, that persecution and prejudice, racism and homophobia and sexism might all be no more, and we might live together acknowledging one another's dignity and remembering once more that we're part of a human family. As we sing together in the name of Shalom, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki oto melech aron lekol hashalom. Ki oto melech aron lekol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Misha Berach is our prayer for healing. And we arrive at these words once more against the backdrop of a world desperately in need of healing. It goes without saying that there are so many around the world who are hurting and struggling due to illness. And by extension, so are their family members. We pray now for healing and a return to wellness and strength for all those who are struggling in any way, whether physically or emotionally, that we might know wholeness once more. As a congregation on this night, our prayers are very much with Ileana Cohn, Rick Ulrich, Shirley Lewis, Wynn Romsberg, Amy Martyr, Millie Rosenfeld, Roxanne Forth, Jerry Dreskin, Bruce Berkowitz, Ann Marsden, and Stephen Trombecki, as well as the names that you hold in your heart at this moment, or any names you would care to share with us in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on Facebook, as we join together in praying for healing, singing our prayer for healing, Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor Abracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor Abracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We'll pause at this important point in our service for the sake of our own personal reflections and personal prayers. Legioni bili panefa, Adonai suri, Adonai suri, Adonai suri vekoali, Adonai suri, Adonai suri. Adonai suri begoali,
רפים, הגיון ליבי לפניך, יהיו לי רצונים רפים רפים, הגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, Adonai Suri Bekoali, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri Bekoali, Yehuli Ratzonim Repim Repim, Begioni Bipanecha, Yehuli Ratzonim Repim Repim, Begioni Bilepanecha.
Shabbat Shalom again, everybody. It's good to be with you. I thought I would say a word or two about Torah portion, where we are in the Jewish calendar. I hope you're feeling good. I hope that being part of our service brings you some comfort and a little bit of perspective. So a couple words. I have my associate here with me, as you can see. Okay, he's hiding. First, I wanted to say a word about our Torah portion, which is a double portion of Tazria Mitzorah, which Charlotte was preparing to chant this weekend, and we'll come back to when the time comes. But Tazria Mitzorah, actually for years and years and years and years, this is a Torah portion that we would sort of dread. And there's even a temptation to skip over this Torah portion. It felt maybe irrelevant, antiquated, less than helpful, because the Torah portion is 100% about illness. And we thought in spring of the year, which is when we generally come to this Torah portion, why spend an entire Shabbat focused on illness? Of all the messages and lessons in our Torah portion, why devote such time and energy to illness? And now, well, here we are in 2020, and all of a sudden this portion rises, it lifts off the page with insight that we never knew it had in it. So more than anything else, the portion shows that we are a people who have cared for the sick from the very beginning. It shows how our Israelite ancestors took care of each other. It showed how they were cautious and discerning and careful in providing care to each other. And there's guidance here for us, of course, all these years later, asking us, how are we caring for each other, both those in our home? Are we taking care of each other, tending to each other, hearing each other, but also those in our world who are struggling and suffering? Is there a mitzvah that you can do for others? Is there a way we can help others right now, even with maybe just a phone call or a text or something that reminds one another that we are thinking of them, we're caring, we care about them, all stemming from this Torah portion, Tazria Mitzorah. The other thing I wanted to talk about just very quickly, we have a series of holidays coming this next week, back-to-back holidays. One is Yom HaZikaron, which is the holiday that has us remember those who have fallen defending the state of Israel. And then the very next day is Yom HaAtzmaut, the Day of Independence for the state of Israel, celebrating the founding of the modern state of Israel, which took place in May of 1948. And so Yom HaZikaron is a day of sadness. It's a day of memory. It's a day of thinking deeply about the sacrifices that were made for the sake of the state of Israel and the very existence of the state of Israel. And Yom HaAtzmaut is all about joy and celebration, thanking God that we live in a time and place where the state of Israel is a reality. And maybe one message that comes away is that we, as a Jewish people, we are well acquainted with both. And perhaps to be a Jew is to remember that there are those who have sacrificed a great deal, to live with a kind of heaviness, to remember that we're here by virtue of so many sacrifices made by so many people over time, not just in Israel, but really throughout time in every land that Jews have lived. But to be a Jew is not to dwell in that place of sadness and longing, but to remember all the blessings and the good, to remember that there's joy, and there is joy to be found even now, even if we have to go out of our way to find it. Maybe you find it in nature, maybe you find it in family, maybe you find it in Netflix, that we find joy, that we go out of our way to find joy, especially now. We need that, to remember to smile, to remember to take a breath, to remember to laugh. We need that especially now. So as we mark these two holidays this coming week, maybe that becomes a broader message, especially for right now. So that's my word of Torah for this week. As we'll now continue with our service, we sing together Aleinu at the back of our prayer book, page 586.
עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוסף ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וכל עלינו ככל עמונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
As we do on every holiday, whether Shabbat or otherwise, we take the time to remember those we've loved and lost. And we do think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memory always be for a blessing. And we remember at this time those taken from our congregational family in most recent days. Susan Fesnack, wife of Raymond Fesnack, mother of Mindy and Abraham, Zachary and Erica, grandmother of Eliana and Leah. David Prizer, cousin of Jill Schlesinger. Bruce Kay, uncle of Mitch Kay. Paul Barrett, grandfather of Daniel Barrett, great-grandfather of Ethan and Noah. Sid Jaffe, cousin of Karen Grossman. Steve Ravitz, a dear friend of our congregation. Barbara Michelson, mother of Cheryl and John Makopoulos, grandmother of Evan and Alex. Carol Gold, mother of Dave and Lori Gold, grandmother of Dana and Emily. Norma Sargis, mother of Steve Horvitz and Heidi Cooperstein. And Will Harris, dear friend of Pierce Godfrey. As well, we recall at this time those whose yahrzeit we mark this Shabbat. Stephen Bertuglia, Ann Comer, David Gallinson, Glenn Richard Goldman, Irving Gordon, Sari Isdaner, Claire Levitt, Janet Levy, Adolph Silver, and Abraham Stein. If there is a name that you would care to share with us, I invite you to do so in the chat below or in the comments if you're watching on Facebook, or perhaps just to hold that name in your heart at this time as we join together in the hallowed words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, thanking God for the very gift of life itself. Yitzgadal v'yitzgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mivorach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha barichu. V'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Together we can say, Amen. Just a couple of reminders before we join together in a closing song. We would love for you to join us on Facebook tomorrow morning at 10 for our Shabbat morning service, 10 o'clock on Facebook. Cantor Sandy will be leading a Havdalah on Facebook tomorrow night at 7. Also, we are having religious school on Sunday, beginning with a 9:30 tefillah, which the Cantor and I will be leading, and it's a nice way for our kids to be together, experience some community, experience tefillah together before then and going to do the projects that their teachers have shared with them for that day. That's Sunday morning. Tuesday night, we're doing a book review of the novel The Orphan's Tale by Pam Jenoff, who lives in our area and will be joining in our Zoom call about the book. So she's going to be right there talking about the novel, writing the novel, and helping us to think through this really very powerful novel. And then hot off the press, next Tuesday, which is May 5th at 7, we're going to do a Zoom discussion of the highly acclaimed Netflix series Unorthodox, which a lot of you have watched or are watching or should now watch. It's a great series. It's only 4 episodes, and there's a lot there for us to talk about and think about together. So that's going to be Tuesday, May 5th at 7. So this, in addition to everything else that you're finding in your emails and Facebook, all the ways that we're trying to really keep everyone engaged and give you a lot of Jewish content and substance, which we all really need these days for guidance, for direction, for comfort. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. And let's join in a closing song of Yerushalayim Shel Zahav in honor of our beloved homeland, the state of Israel. Please join with us.
ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושלום עלו לכוש שירייך אני כינור ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושלום עלו לכוש שירייך אני כינור אך בבואי היום לשיר לך ולך לקשור כתרים קטונתי מצעיר בנייך ובאחרון המשוררים כשלג שורדת השפתיים כמשיקה אם אשכחך ירושלים, אשר כולה זהב, ירושלים של זהב, ושל נחושת ושלום, עלו לבוש שירייך קניתי נון. ירושלים של זהב, ושל נחושת ושלום, עלו לבוש שירייך קניתי נון. חזרנו אל ברות המים, לשוב אל הכיכר, שופר קורא בהר הבית, בעיר העתיקה. ובמרות אשר בסלע, על פי שמשות שורפות, ושוב נרד על ים המלך, בדרך יריקו. ירושלים של זהב, ושל נחושת ושלום, עלו לבוש
All the people who were watching it. There's the middleman.
Looks like money.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom, everyone.
We're talking.
Shalom, everyone.
We're unmuted.
It's him.
No, you can hear him.
Shalom.
Here.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Sandy.
Oh,
Bye.
good job, Sandy. And
Shabbat
I
shalom,
thank you.
Judy.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, Brian.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you very much.
Hear you. Larry, Judy.
Yep.
Shabbat shalom, Jim. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Everybody.
Shabbat shalom, Gail.
Shabbat shalom, Gail.
Great
Shabbat shalom,
night.
Dana.
Thanks, everybody. Stay well, stay healthy.
Shabbat shalom, Grims.
Bye.